Welcome to the post show, the show after the show. And tonight, DC couldn't come and couldn't be here with us. He's got some important stuff to do tomorrow. So we are joined by our lovely editor, Colette. Oh, we cannot hear you. No sound. Maybe, can you...
Wait.
Oh, there we go.
It must have disconnected. But hello.
That's okay. Maybe you were quiet for too long and it timed out. The person in the background, we love you too. But anyway, we are here this time to talk about the Animatrix. And I love the Matrix series. Animatrix was not the best entry in the series. The first movie is the best. But it was still a good part of the show. Go ahead.
What the hell? There we go. It gave more backstory of the Matrix. It filled in a lot of blanks.
It does. It really does. Happening. So it's a 2003 compilation of an animated of 9 animated short films based on the Matrix trilogy. And the game, because apparently the game Matrix Reloaded, which got really bad reviews everywhere, that was back when X Games was a thing. Remember X Games, Bio? Colette, Bio, Desi, you guys know her as a bunch of different things at this point.
But, I remember the days.
The Matrix video games, the mainline video games, were actually tied in and canon to the universe as well back in the old days. They were so bad. But anyway, a little interesting thing is that I do my research on these movies, probably too much, but the Animatrix, actually the order was shuffled around for some of the releases. Like, I checked it out on a couple different sites. One of the sites was the HBO Max version, and that was actually the Australian release. For whatever reason. Chase, why your country put the Flight of the Osiris at the end of the movie, I will never know.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. The Flight of the Osiris...
The Flight of the Osiris was the really well done 3D CGI where they started off fighting with katanas. The sexy people.
Okay, yes, that was
they did like strip poker but with katanas.
Yeah, that was the first one I watched.
See, that was the first one in the American release, but as I said, the Australian release, which is a version that's on HBO Max for whatever reason, it's at the end of the movie. I don't know why. But anyway, it doesn't change it. It doesn't change the way the story is consumed all in all. And actually, I couldn't understand why one of the other sites I was watching it on, it actually shuffled around the movies in between. And I couldn't find out why. But, so we're just kind of go in the order the Wikipedia told me. Because that's the way I took them notes, because I was keeping track with the Wikipedia.
You can describe them, and I'll know what you're talking about.
Okay, so we could first talk about the Flight of the Osiris, which is actually a direct prequel to The Matrix Reloaded. Once again, if you watch this in a different country or a different version, they're going to be shuffled around, but it really doesn't change the continuity. Each of these stories are independent of each other, other than Renaissance 1 and 2. Other than those ones. But this is a direct prequel to The Matrix Reloaded. So technically, canonically, you would watch this. Kind of like, do you remember Chronicles of Riddick? How they had the anime movie in between Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah, I'm going back, man. I'm going back.
The games are canon, too, to that world.
With the Chronicles of Riddick, yeah, there's a lot of similarity. I also love the Chronicles of Riddick, guys. Don't at me. You guys are already... I can hear your angry, typey fingers. I hear it. But anyway... And it's we start off at which studio? This was the only one I didn't write the studio down because I'm an idiot. Anyway, but we start off and we get our... I'm going to give you my short summary of this story first, and then we can discuss it in depth. So the final Flight of the Osiris, it's got really cool CGI. We see nearly naked people, and we find out robots are trying to drill into Zion. If you remember the movies, that's the last main, biggest stronghold of the humans on Earth that are left alive, and they're down in like middle of Earth planet. I don't know the exact location, but they're trying to drill down there, and there's a frantic fight to warn them, and a package has to be delivered, and everybody dies.
I was just kind of like, okay, that was kind of weird.
Now, I know DC we talked a little bit about it in pre-show, but DC was saying, like, I wanted this to be expanded, and honestly, I found it perfect the length it was. It had the story to tell, and it told it. because this was actually referenced in the movies. This canon event that even though look, normally we shit all over 3D animation, but it was done well. What do you think about the 3D animation, Desi?
I like that.
Yeah, it was. Now this was made in
nice.
2003, but it still
for a 2003 animation. Yeah,
it looked nice. It looked real nice. But so anyway, we have this little scene where we're in that dojo that we see in the first Matrix movie, where Morpheus and Neo, they're fighting, and Neo's first learning how to do his thing, and they're a dark skinned gentleman and a woman, Asian. I believe she was an Asian woman. Doesn't matter really because she was gorgeous. They both were, and they're training with katanas, and they're just back and forth. Oh, you could be faster than that. You're better than that. And it's a very
basically flirting. They were flirting with katanas.
They were flirting with katanas, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, did they spend too much time on this eye candy scene? Probably, but everybody enjoyed it. Did you like it?
I mean, yeah. I was
Chase,
like,
have you seen the Animatrix?
Yes, I have.
Did you enjoy it? If you have, never mind. He's shy. He's shy. The voice is gone. Is shy.
I was 8 years old. Yes, sorry, I have. I was 8 years old when I saw the Animatrix, so that's when it came out. I was 8.
Wow, way to age both of us.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember the 3D CGI flirting?
I remember the 3D CGI, but not a lot else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. We should have a movie night in the near future. All of the Matrix series, all of it. Just
Lord.
All of it. Anyway, and the games too, guys. We're gonna play the games too.
No, thank you.
Good luck.
Anyway, so then the Sentinels attack them, and there's pew pew and destroying, and they kind of like flee through this tunnel thing, and that's where they go out and they see like. I know you watched Steven Universe as well. I instantly thought of the injectors from Steven Universe when I saw the massive drill, and I'm
there
like,
was actually another one that made me think, oh, Steven Universe must have got this idea from
it's very possible because I'm like, oh, okay, because I saw the connection. It's just like this little spindly legged drill with like the bottom was. Think of a Big Daddy drill from BioShock. Yeah, a big bottom drill. It's thick.
Oh Lord, help me.
It's thick. And they're like, oh crap, we have to do something about that. So they surface, and Sentinels give the chase, and the lady's like, look, we have to warn Zion, and the only way to do that apparently was to send a message to the Matrix. They're like, and then so they plug her in, and they have this moment where her and her dude, what's his name? Yue is the woman's name. Jue, J-U-E, Jue.
No, Yue.
She's Asian, so I imagine it's Yue.
Yeah, Yue.
She goes into the Matrix to warn them. Thaddeus was the other dude. Thaddeus and Yue.
Yes.
They share a heartfelt goodbye because they know. Like, they know the pretty much the crew, because there's a whole the Osiris has a whole crew on it. It's very much like Morpheus's Nebuchadnezzar. Got a whole crew of people on it, and they know that their job literally is to keep the ship alive long enough to keep her alive long enough to deliver that package. It's a suicide mission, and she goes in and they're fighting. They've got the little EMP cannons, and the Sentinels are drilling to the ship. Very well done, though. I enjoyed all of it. And so she's in the Matrix. She's jumping through construction sites, doing cartwheels, unnecessary splits, but cinema. So, when she like landed on the handstand and both of her legs went, like.
I mean, flying kick, like
So Yue, they're swarming the ship. The ship crashes. They're doing everything they can to keep her in it long enough. She finds a mailbox and she has the package and she bloops it in there. And there's the little old lady that has a conversation with her. And honestly, the little old lady was so sweet.
Yeah, I was kind of sitting there and I'm like, Okay, that was a little weird. Like the old lady just probably knew.
I don't.
It feels to me the old lady
I
is like,
feel like she knew, like the way the glasses reflected, it was very symbolic, and this whole movie's filled with a lot of symbolic shit too.
oh yeah,
So much symbolic. Like later on, when we see like the light show with the robot. I know DC wasn't really sure what's going on. There's a lot of symbolism there. A lot of it.
Yeah, I was about to say the word symbolism there, Angels.
Shut up.
That's alright.
But anyway, she drops off the package. She falls to the ground dead. The crew dies. And that's also the setup for the Enter the Matrix game, I came to find out later. The Enter the Matrix game, that's the setup.
yeah, you're right.
You pick up the package.
Yeah.
You have to enter the Matrix to pick up the package, the very important package.
Oh my god. See,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
See, while I was watching this, I followed along with the Wikipedia article as well. Because I'm like, oh, interesting stuff. So anyway, then we have the Second Renaissance, Part 1 and Part 2. It is a prequel to all of it. It is story time for what happened, how did the world come from where we are to where it is in the Matrix series. It was done by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius. I need to find out the studio of the Flight of the Osiris for you guys real quick.
Cool.
But
like, while you do that, I have some opinions of this one.
Go ahead.
This one. So, why I don't know about you, but I feel like the human race in this movie was just so dumb, stupid.
Yeah, it was done by Square Pictures. That's why it looks so fantastic. Square was a powerhouse in 2003. I mean, they still are, but
yeah,
that's why it was done by Square.
Like okay, AI take over whatever, and then they abandon. Like, I'm just gonna go through a short summary of it, and then we can go deep into it. You know, they put the robots, the AI, in their own little area, and then they become too powerful, and then the humans are just like, "Yo, we don't like it. We're gonna destroy you."
It's iRobot.
That's what I said. It's iRobot.
But Matrix was first, so technically iRobot is Matrix.
Yes, or like I thought of Detroit Become Human too.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting there and I'm like,
spark that ignited all of this is a servant bot was being scheduled for destruction, and he didn't want to die. What was his name? I wrote it down. People said he deserved a fair hearing. B166ER, the first bot to rise up against the humans. He murdered his owners because he didn't want to die. He
wanted to live.
It was
self-defense. Guys, iRobot was actually a book first, and it was published in 1950. So it's possible that the Matrix
cross-inspiration possible.
Okay,
was
there we
inspired by iRobot instead.
Oh, that's cool.
And iRobot was released in 2004.
It's very cool. The Wachowskis that wrote The Matrix put reference a lot of things. I don't know if it's reference to iRobot though, but I'm sure there's a lot of cross inspiration for all of it because that's the theme.
The robots wanted to come to the UN, and they're sitting there like, we want to be a part of this, and the humans are just like, nah, we want to kill you. Like, what the?
Yeah, they went out of their way to be like, hey, we want to, because pretty much as Cole said, there was big war and big civil disruption, so all the robots, they went to the cradle of humanity, which was where? Mesopotamia. I know words. Meso somewhere. I don't remember exactly.
I don't know.
Cradle of humanity is usually referred to as somewhere in the Middle East.
Mesopotamia.
That's what the wiki said. Mesopotamia. The show said they went to the cradle of humanity, and I think it showed the African continent on the show as well. I'm not the best geology coordinator
about
person, but
50 kilometers northwest of Johannesburg, South Africa.
There you go, Africa. There we go. Which is. Then they made Society 01, as Cole was saying, and they prospered. They did really well. They made stuff, sold it to the humans. The humans are all well for hating the robots until they want a new car, I guess.
What was it? fly now or whatever, the car commercial.
Yeah. It was like, even with catastrophic engine failure, this car will make sure you don't die, kind of thing.
Die.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like...
Then the robots went to the UN, they wanted peace, they wanted prosperity, they were aggressively denied.
And not even just that, though, because why the humans were so angry is because the stock market was, like, going down. There was little blippets of, like, you know, all the human stuff was getting, you know, stocked down, so everybody was losing money.
You're absolutely right, but I'm sorry, you led me down a rabbit hole for later. By the way, I'm not going to look at it anymore. People are theorizing that iRobot is actually canonically a prequel to The Matrix. Moving on. Carry on. That's a rabbit hole for another time.
No, but no, that was basically it. Like, yeah.
So then the UN is like, you know what? Now, mind you, these robots are not doing anything. They just want peace. They're making people's technology. They are prospering. They are doing so well that the human economy is failing, but yet humans are still buying the things the robots are making. And then the UN's like, we're going to nuke them.
And that's another thing. They're robots. You're just screwing yourself.
Yeah, like the explosion, like it literally says, like, yes, they're nuked. It's sad. The explosion killed a lot of them, but the heat and the radiation from the bombs did absolutely nothing to them. Can we also talk about, like, during the protests, the fact that
America? I'm sorry.
Very Detroit become human and very surrogate type of bots that looked human. And they were still I felt bad. Like, yes, they're robots, but I felt bad for the one that was assaulted by a gang of humans and she was beaten in the public, and it's grody. It's grody. It's gritty.
I have so many, like, opinions about, like, you know, robot AI uprising and yeah. Go on with the movie.
But, you know, honestly, like, I felt for them. I did throughout all of it. Like, anyway, but and then the humans, that didn't work. So the humans are like, we need to do Operation Dark Storm to destroy the sky. And I have in parentheses in my notes, that's a great idea. Because, you know, human beings don't need sunlight, only robots do.
You already nuked multiple places. So you ruined the soil. I mean, yes, you can fix that a little bit, but
only in Africa. Fuck everybody else. I mean, you know, the other side of the world should be fine.
So now they're deciding, oh yeah, let's just cover the sky, and it's just like, God, you're stupid. How did these robots be made by you?
I don't know. So they're going to shroud the planet from the sun, and so the bots don't get to use the solar energy. Great. And then, but, like, couldn't they just use an EMP? We have EMPs today. We have electromagnetic pulse that does absolutely nothing to organic tissue, unless you have, like, a pacemaker or something. But at this point, they're willing to nuke fucking Africa. So, you know, fuck the old people in the hospital, I guess. Just use an EMP.
Fuck Africa, I guess.
But no, I guarantee, like, if this was based off a book or something, I guarantee the humans are like, but we need our fancy cars and our computers and our smartphones. We can't use an EMP. Just nuke them instead.
America.
Fuck yeah. I don't know. By the way, if you can't tell, Desiree, you could swear and stuff in the post show.
Yeah, so. I'm now realizing that.
Yeah, because it's for our patrons. So, hello to patrons. We love you. Make sure you give love to the patrons. They're cool. But anyway, so then so there's another war, and this one's a war. All-out war.
Yeah.
At first, the humans are doing well. At first, the humans are winning, but the robots start to get smarter. They start to develop better kill bots, murder bots, and there's also famine, and society collapses, and it's just humanity's fucked.
Sat here and I was just like, you know, if you were just nice to them, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, we could have literally been like, okay, that's fine, but we'll treat you like human beings.
Make sure to always thank Alexa.
Thanks, Alexa. Wait, hold on. I've got a Google Assistant though. I'll thank my Google Assistant. Hold on. Wait for it. Thank you. That's what I'm here for. See, she don't mind.
She's so sweet.
I do actually. Is it weird that
I love you too?
If I use the Google Assistant, I actually thank it. Is that weird?
No.
I actually go out, hit the button, or say the "Okay Google" again to thank it. But anyway, my mother raised me with manners. If it's a machine, it still needs to be thanked. It did a thing for me.
I do it too. Or I tell my phone that it's an asshole and I hate it because autocorrect.
Yeah, that's fair. But so then we see the bots win, obviously, and the machines. Then we see like the birth of the original Matrix. The machines, like, there was a game theory episode that proved this would not be the best way to get power to power your society, was using human beings as batteries. Did you see that one? Game theorist or film theorist. It was very Matt Pat. Go check them out. I love them. I hope one day that maybe we get popular enough that we could be noticed by the senpais. But and we see them start to use human beings as batteries for the electricity that we produce and our body heat. They turn this all into billions of tiny little batteries powered by us. I think he said something along the lines of a human being produces enough energy over like 10 years to power a light bulb for like 2 or something like that. I don't remember.
I
don't remember.
Space that part out.
Very inefficient. But, hey, within theory, it would work.
So then we still use coal.
The Matrix that they plug all the human being batteries in. Oh, I cut over the top of you, Chase. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just saying we still use coal and fossil fuels, despite the fact it's very inefficient.
You're not wrong. If we could figure out somehow to harness my energy when I drink an energy drink, then the world would be fine. It would be fine.
Yeah, don't try to harness my energy unless it's stress.
If we could power the world on stress. Now hear me out. Elon Musk, hear me out.
Stress power.
Just find some depressed millennials and you got just give them some computers and just put them in a bubble and just harness all of their stress. We'll be good.
Pick me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will volunteer.
No, I volunteer as tribute. So, and then we see the final moments of humanity, and then the bots break into the UN, and they do this little, hand over your flesh is useless, we demand it. And it's kind of weird, but I guess, that reminds me, you guys can make fun of me. That's fine. I accept this. I got led to an adventure of it's a porn comic. It's his post show. I don't have to edit myself. It's a porn comic where a dude's too busy to pleasure his wife and he gives her a pleasure robot and then she only wants a pleasure robot.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
This has happened in real life, by the way.
I have a manga that is called Absolute Boyfriend. I have all of it. And it's about a girl who orders a robot, a doll, from this company to be her boyfriend. And the ending's really sweet. But yeah.
Do they bone?
Well, it's implied.
No, you actually get in the other one. It's like it's a webtoon before webtoons. I guess it was on like this custom site for it. I'll have to go find it. It's like WRX7 or some shit like that. And like literally, it like Shape of Water. It just pops out, whoop, and then it shows.
Oh my god! Please help. We leave you. We leave Zanetta to do one post show, and it turns into the lewd show.
The lewd show is the hentai episode coming up, but we're not getting onto that. I hope we have a slightly risque movie to watch when that happens, but probably not. But anyway, the next one honestly could have been cut out. It added very little to the story. It's called okay, I lied. The next one, which one came next for you? Was it Kid Story or Program? Program was the training program with the samurai.
Kid Story was my next one.
Kid Story came next for you. Okay, Program next. We'll go to Kid Story. Program went next for me. Kid Story, which was like the second to the last for me. This one was good. I did not like the animation.
Okay, so the animation I realized was kind of a mix between like scribble animation, like scribble art, and
Get this. Come on. It was done by the same studio 4 degrees Celsius or 4 degrees C, that did the Second Renaissance. The same studio.
I mean, different artists though.
Yeah, and it actually falls between it's the only one with Neo in it, and it falls between the Matrix 1 and 2, canonically, because we see the kid in Matrix 2. We see it.
What?
I knocked over a chair.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, I was really loud, so
I was
like, was look on my face.
No, but this one, I really enjoyed it.
I loved the story, loved it, did not like the animation.
Which is fine. Like this, like I didn't mind the animation, but like the story, I was sitting there and I'm like, man, like the fall.
Yeah, it starts with like, okay, we don't have to start with it. Starts. Pretty much, it's a story about the kid. What's his name? I don't remember. But anyway, he's living in the Matrix, and he knows there's something up. And the whole time he's searching for answers, and for whatever reason, he knows Neo and Trinity's name. Actually, I think in the end you see that he got on the hacker site, and and he talked to somebody. It doesn't say who. The same like the way the Matrix was with the black, the hacker, the black screen with the green text.
I'm in.
We need to change this mechanical keyboard to make keyboard noises when we talk about the hacker. We need like a clip of that. Hacker. That's your cue. Okay, never mind. I just have a regular keyboard. It doesn't make as many cool clickies. But anyway, so he like gets on the hacker site. He says, I feel like I'm alone. I feel like this world's not right. Everything all weird.
Yeah, he's talking about when he dreams. When he dreams, he feels like it's more real than when he's awake. And they're like, well, you're not wrong. And then he asks, well, am I alone? Who are you? And then, am I alone? And then it stops there.
But later we find out that somebody responded that he's not alone. We find out at the end, but I don't know why they say that, but it was kind of like a dramatic thing. And so anyway, the next day at school, or some days in the future, it's really unspecified. The kid cannot focus in class. He is scribbling in his notebook. His phone starts ringing, even though his phone is off. And he double checks that it's turned off, and the phone still rings. His teacher gets all mad at him. And he's like, dude, it's off. Like, the phone is off, and it's still ringing. He answered it, and I believe it's Neo. I think it's Neo's voice.
It is.
And he's like, the agents know you're there. They're coming for you. So all of a sudden, agents break in, and he does this frantic running through the school. Very cool. His teacher goes after him, too. The agents are after him. Frantic, running, scrambling, acrobatics, barely. And it's even though the animation is crap, I don't like the way everything moved. It was still a really good scene. Like, I can still appreciate the story for what it is without just hating on the animation, because it was done that way intentionally. That's what they wanted to do with it. Yeah. Because I think it was like, because you did mention the scribble style, and I think it's because it's the emotion, and it's the emotion of the scene and the emotion of that teenage boy. And
it was abstract too.
Abstract and symbolism.
Because it was reflecting of the child, because you see the child scribbling in the notebook, so it's from the child's point of view.
Yes, exactly. And so anyway, he gets chased up to the roof, and he's held at gunpoint, mind you, and he's like, I believe in Neo, and he's like believing so hard in Neo, and he yeets himself off the building, headed toward that big ass at the ground. We see that his perspective as he's going down, and you're like, and it's terrifying. And we go to the graveyard, and the people talking about him, like, oh, he's an unbalanced child, he's denying reality.
I was sat there and I was just like, if only you knew.
He's in another world now. But then he wakes up, and he's in another world, and he sees like the lower half of Neo and Trinity's face. He's like, Neo, and he hears Trinity like, I'm astounded this was not supposed to happen. Self-substination, which is considered impossible, aka yeeting himself from the Matrix. Because he believes so hard that he just went, he yeeted himself out.
Here.
Yeah, the kid, and then he's like, "Oh, you saved me, Neo." And Neo's like, "Nah, you saved yourself.
You saved yourself, man. You did that all on your own."
And honestly, like in the Matrix 2, we actually see him as an actor and not just an animated character.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looks different, you know, whatever. It's an animation, but the point is he's still this. He's like very like, man, Neo's the best. I love Neo, and I really like that the anime crossed over with the movie so well.
Yeah.
And no, it's not exactly the same character design because that's animation and this is real life. But I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, and we also see the flashback then that they said he's not alone. Very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. All right, then what came next for you? Was it the one with the samurai, or do you remember? Was it the one with the samurai, or was it Beyond, or I'm just talking about the samurai one.
Yeah, it was program Samurai. It was Samurai first with the chick and the dude. Yeah.
So pretty much this one, honestly, because DC and I were kind of talking about it during the pre-show, there was ones that could be cut. The only one I said that could, without impactful story, was this one. Really, this one could have been cut, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. It was done by Madhouse Studio. Madhouse is great. Madhouse has got a lot of titles under their belt.
I like Madhouse.
And it's pretty much a woman inside of a training program, as we've seen before many times, and it's her favorite program. She's pretty much playing a video game. She's a samurai warrior in feudal era Japan, and
kicking ass.
She's kicking so much ass. And a dude apparently that she knows approaches her, and they start sparring. And then he's like, "Look, don't you? Sometimes you wish we could all go back to the way it was." And she's like, "Well, yeah, but we can't. Like, this is what it is." And he's like, "Oh, I talked to the machines. We can go back. We can do it." And she turns him down, and she turns him down, and he gets aggressive about it, and they start really fighting, and she has to wind up killing him. It's done really well. That's why I said, yeah, story-wise, this one could be cut, but it's beautiful. I'm sorry. It's beautiful. It's done in such a... Yeah. It's a great design, and then as he's dying at the point of her blade, he admits that he loves her. And it was a very impactful moment, and she cries. And by the way, the operator ignored her the whole time because she was like, "Operator, I need out. I need out." And he's like, "Oh, no, the operator didn't ignore her. He said that he blocked the operator. He blocked it. He's a hacker man." Yes, exactly. And yeah, they fight, and it's a beautiful fight, and he admits that he loves her, and then suddenly she wakes up from the program. It was just all a simulation. That dude doesn't even exist. They like somehow made her believe that she knew that dude.
Yeah.
It's all a test, and she passed with flying colors, and she's pissed. I would be pissed too. That was a lot of emotional distress. Like, to her, that was all real.
Yeah.
She had to kill her lover. Like, that was real. And so she punches the dude that says you pass with flying colors. She socks him a good one. And he's like, well, everything but that was really cool. And then she just walks away. See, as I said, that's the end of it. That could have been cut, but it was a masterpiece. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anyone that I'm just gonna watch just because I want to see it pretty, it's gonna be that one. I'm just gonna put it on because it was nice. Like, it was very heavily inked too, very like it looked older animation style, but it was done so smoothly. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, did World Record come next for you?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're on the same track now. For now, so World Record, also by Madhouse, and this one had a very interesting art style, but it worked for the story it was trying to tell.
Like, I liked it. I liked the art style. But, like, oh, man, so we'll get there. We'll get there. It's the race. We'll get there.
It hurt me too. So anyway, we this one's more like this one's a little different in the fact that this one feels like you're in the archives again.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you were in the archives in the beginning of the Renaissance? And yes, it feels like you're in the archives again because you hear a voiceover going, only special people can discover the Matrix. Like, it's more detailed than that. It's like, most people discover the Matrix through these means or these means, but some people just discover it. Like, could we have that preamble for Kid's Story, too? Like, that would have been nice. Because Kid yoked himself from the experience. Like, little spoiler for this one. If you have not seen this, what's wrong with you? First off. Secondly, why are you watching us spoil the entire thing?
It's also it goes in a weird order. This feels like the beginning of when they started using humans as an energy source.
Could have been. It could have been. 100%, because they look like they're having a hard time containing this one. Like,
yeah,
but anyway, so pretty much we see an Olympic runner, and he set a world record, but it was crushed because somebody said they defunct it because he was on drugs, and he wasn't. He talks to his dad, he talks to his trainer, and he's gonna do it again. He's gonna run again, and he's gonna break his last record, and he's gonna prove he's not on drugs and prove he is this fast. And this dude goes to the quals. He almost hurts himself, broke the time, and his trainer's like, "You can't do this. If you do this, you're gonna kill yourself." And
like,
dude's
this
like,
is the last one you can do.
and dude's like, you know what? That's fine because I want to clear my name. I want to clear my name. I didn't do drugs then, and I'm not doing them now.
Yeah.
Because like he's done all the tests already. He's like constantly being monitored. He's proved that he's not on drugs. And dude, the trainer's like, "Fine, do it without me." Trainer quits, and he's like, "Forget you. I'll do it myself then."
Fine.
And he does. He goes to the race, and mind you, during the race, he's being watched by no less than like 5 or 6 agents. They're all in the audience. They're all over the place. They're
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And he starts running. The thing goes off. He starts going, and he's doing great. And then all of a sudden, like his leg, like the muscles rupture. His leg, like the muscles just
basically he tears the entire muscle.
Yes, his leg muscles burst as he's going, and he just keeps pushing. He grunts, he falls back, he keeps pushing on. His other leg goes too. He falls back, he grunts. Through sheer willpower, he pushes on, and he fell to the back of the pack.
Yeah.
He overtakes all of them, and as he's almost there, like we get this slow motion, and his face is like,
it's in depth.
I don't particularly like this animation style. It's very heavily inked. It's very stylistic, but it wasn't. It was chosen for a purpose, and the purpose was to tell this short story, and I still was okay with that. Like it was fine. But anyway, and none of his competitors can catch him as he's about to cross the finish line. He like wakes up, and he's like wakes up in the real world.
It's also the agents all switch places with the runners because they don't want him to get first place, because if he gets first place, he'll wake up.
Yes, I would like to know how no other human being noticed that the agent, and the agents couldn't catch him, by the way.
Yeah, well, it was like they switched. It was like a switch, and
like what they do in the movies. And the agents can assimilate into any random human.
Yes.
I want to know how the human's consciousness that was just assimilated, what happens to them? Do they just die? Or do they just get, like, teleported back to their default location of their house?
Probably that. Well,
no, actually, because we saw in the movies, this is a different tangent, I'm sorry, I'll wrap this up quickly, that once the agent was shot, it was the human body that fell backwards.
Yeah.
So, fuck those people then, I guess. I'm sorry, if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life, and those people, anyway. So he like bursts out of his battery pod and he's awake and he's like sees the real world for what it is. Instantly, one of the bots subdue him and shove him back in there and just get back in there, you little bastard. Grabs him in there, hooks him back up, and he bot restrains him, puts him back in, and he falls, tumbling, falling, and he back in the Matrix, and he crosses the finish line and falls over. He did it. 8.72 seconds. He did it. He shattered all the records, even his own record, and he proved that he wasn't on drugs, mind you. And now we're in the future. He's crippled. He's in a wheelchair, and a nurse is just chatty Kathy.
Yeah, she's just talking, and he's just like sitting there playing with these walnuts. Like,
yeah, I don't know why he was playing with the walnuts.
It's a therapeutic exercise that you can do.
Oh, okay. Like stress balls, just rolling them in his hand, because that's what he's doing with them. The little clack, 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 clack.
Yeah, basically.
And there's agents that are kind of still watching him, and the agent's like, he'll never run or walk again. We made sure of that he's not going to get out again. It's fine. We made sure he's done. And the guy goes, free. And then he like stands like, all the restraints and everything on his legs start breaking, screws go flying. He gets out of his chair and he walks.
And then
he floats a little bit. He takes a few steps and falls. And mind you, the agents watch these like, sit back down, sit down.
Yeah.
And that's why the animation was very like,
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's the end of that one. He proved that he could, not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times he proved that he could. Yes. I want to know why the kid's sheer willpower could get him out of the Matrix, and that dude's sheer willpower got him thrown back in the Matrix.
Like I said, it could be an earlier
You're absolutely right. That honestly makes sense when the robots are still trial and erroring how to make this all work.
Mm-hmm.
Probably before the humans really had a formalized way of being able to find and track the people that were close to breaking out.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. So what was next for you?
Then it was Kid Story, and we already did that. Then it was Beyond, and it was the cat girl, the girl looking for the cat, not a cat, not a Neko.
Well, the cat was. I remember the cat's name was Yuki because she kept saying it.
The girl's name was Yoho.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yoho and Yuki. This one, once again, this is another one that we can sum up pretty quickly. Not a lot happened, but I mean, stuff happened, but it wasn't like integral. You know what I mean? It wasn't super impactful. Yeah, it was also done by Studios 4 Degrees C.
It was like a calming in between everything.
Yeah, like a little bit of woo sauce. So pretty much. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is on my thing too. Like the scene in Thor: Dark World where they have that warehouse, the haunted house in the Animatrix where all the cool stuff is happening and this, that, and the other. That happens in Thor: The Dark World. And and the whole thing is like, oh, it's a haunted house. Oh, cool, it's a haunted house. This is fun. And then the whatever they were, the big weird ass truck that looked totally out of place.
Yeah, you'd think the agents would just assimilate into somebody. I think this was in the earlier phases of the Matrix too, because they were actually traveling. I did actually think of that. I just went, why is that? But that is a completely plausible suggestion of yours, and huzzah! Because why would they just not assimilate into the children that were there?
And like make them leave or whatever.
Yeah, one of the children could have stepped away from the group, been assimilated by the agent. Agent could have come out and been like, "Yeah, kids, get the fuck out."
And
this is private property.
The very end of it, where the three of them.
Hold on, before we get to the end, I'll do a very quick summary. Girl goes looking for cat, finds a haunted house. It's actually a glitch in the Matrix. Teams up with some younger kids. They play in it. Her cat's there. Cat's fine. The whole time I was like, don't let anything happen to the cat. Cat's fine. Cat's fine. Look, even though Cat's just a program in the Matrix, it's an important program and we love it. Okay? Anyway, and the kids, like, they can jump off of things and not hit the ground. They can break a bottle, it'll fling back in their hand. There's a door that she opens into nothing that just echoes of things she said earlier in the day. Lots of
Which that was weird.
That was like, once again, DC and I kind of briefly talked about it during the pre-show. He was like, I want to expand more on that. That was the only thing that took me out of the experience, honestly.
Like, when she found the cat and the cat was like scratching on the door, and she opens the door and she just listens, and that's when they started coming for them.
The exterminators.
Yeah.
There was exterminators because the building was filled with bugs, and there was also agents.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just send agents? They could have been like, this is private property, get out. But once again, it could have been earlier in the Matrix when the agents didn't know how to properly deal with the humans and how to properly relate to them. And the fact that pretty much blunt force, I just realized my poster fell down again.
I noticed that like forever ago.
I put it up before cast. It just slowly. I need to fix that, but that's okay. Look at the back of my poster.
But the other thing that made me go, huh, was the end, because some of them had the residual memory of it.
Oh, they all remembered it. All of the kids remembered it. Look, they all got hauled out of there. The next day they went back, and the place was a parking lot. Because like, there's times that you zoom out and see some sort of, probably a bot coder going over the code and trying to find the errors and fix them. And pretty much they just deleted the whole thing and turned it into a fenced parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids went back and they tried to make the things happen again. No one went, that was a quick way to build. I mean, maybe it wasn't the next day. Maybe it was a week or two later, you know. But still, either way, it's assumed to be the next day. And it's normal. And, like, the kids try to recreate it. They get bored. Nothing happens. A bottle breaks when they throw it. And they leave. But you're right. They had the memories. Why wouldn't they just...
Early stages.
Yeah. Maybe those kids and her caused problems with the Matrix programmers for the rest of it. They're like, okay, from now on, we got to fix their memories.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that when they do that, because the movies, the one dude that's a traitor, he's talking to them about erasing his memories and putting them back in the Matrix.
Yeah.
They can rewrite the memories.
Yeah.
And they do. But anyway, and they actually talk about that in Beyond, or in the Samurai one as well.
Yeah.
They talked about the bots can erase the memories. So why didn't they do that for these kids? But anyway,
and they also implanted memories.
They can do that too. But she cuts her finger and it bleeds, and there's like a close up at the thingy, and
then where'd the cat go?
I don't know. The cat's probably fine.
It's gone.
It's fine. It's probably because it was a very fat cat. It's probably at home eating.
Probably.
And then the next one was Detective Story, right?
Yes, I actually enjoyed that one a lot.
That one was very interesting. It was done by Studio 4C. It was a direct prequel to the first movie, and it was very interesting. Pretty much, long story short, it was a black and white, like a noir, like a detective, like an old gumshoe. I'm on the case of this. You know, I can't do it. I can't do the thing, but you know what I mean. An old gumshoe, and he's a private detective, Mr. Ash, and he realizes being a PI is not as glamorous as or as lucrative. He's poor, as he hoped, and he gets a job. Someone's looking for a computer hacker named Trinity. Now, the whole thing is done in black and white. It's done in a very noir, it's like a film grain style. And honestly, I did like it. It was weird to see a black and white anime, because that's what it was. It was an anime that was all black and white. Very weird, very unique, very cool.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I liked how...
This was the one that I wanted expanded. This is the one that I wanted. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because the whole process of, finding, Trinity,
yeah,
and everything like that was just like, oh man, when is he, going to get caught? And I did like it a lot, and I
liked it a lot. So pretty much, he gets on a trail through looking through. He finds out that every other PI that's looked into the Trinity is either dead, crazy, knocked themselves off, to say it politely. That's not very polite, is it? That's kind of aggressive. Remove themselves from existence, took themselves out of the Matrix. There you go. Voluntarily remove themselves from the Matrix, and or crazy. So there's one that's crazy. He goes to talk to him, gets on a trail that can find baby Trinity in a hacker chat room. He goes with lots of Alice in Wonderland references.
Yeah, I noticed
the Red Queen and crossing the Sixth Pass, and he used it to figure out exactly where to meet Trinity. And he does. It's a train. He barely catches the train. He gets on the train. They have this little gunpoint standoff, very action movie-y. He's like, "You're Trinity?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then they sit down and they talk for all of about 30 seconds before the agents raid them. And then, oh wait, that's right. During their conversation, she's got an eyeball sucker, which proves this is the direct prequel to the Matrix, because they got the belly button sucker in that one. He's been bugged because he dreamed of an eye surgery. And they bugged him to find her. He finds out that it was a setup for the agents to find Trinity. So that's what happened to the other PIs. They were probably found Trinity as well.
Mm-hmm.
The agents made it look like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so, and then there's a train, they chase on the train, and then he's protecting and helping Trinity, and agent tries to take him, and she shoots the agent, and he wants to go with Trinity. The private Mr. Ash wants to go with Trinity, and this is what hurt me. There is nothing that could have stopped her from taking him or saving him or doing something. He got shot. Mr. Ash gets shot protecting Trinity, and like he wants to go with her, and there seems to be like a little bit of a history between them too. Did you pick up that vibe? Like the way they were talking? I did.
Yeah.
Like there was it was hinted at. There was some sort of history between him and Trinity, and I'm like, ooh, tell me more. But they didn't.
Tell me more.
And then she shoots the agent, and he wants to go with her. Agents don't chase him while they talk. They're able just to sit there and talk. It's fine because it's anime. And she's like, for what it's worth, I think he could have handled the truth. Why can't he handle the truth now? He's still alive. Why? And she doesn't tell him. She's like, goodbye. She jumps through a window and he lights up a cigarette, and he's having a cigarette on the train. And he smokes, and agents come in, and his lighter flame goes out. Why could she not have taken him with her? Why? I want to know why. He could have been, no, I do love Keanu Reeves, but he could have been the Neo. You don't know.
Very true.
Maybe because he wasn't searching for the Matrix. Maybe because he was only searching for her. Maybe they have rules what people they can and can't take. I don't know, but I think he could have handled the truth as well. I think she could have taken him with her and at least gave him a chance, because I liked him. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember how, it was only like a 15-minute short, and in that 15 minutes, I fell in love with the private detective.
Same though.
Yeah, look, it wasn't fair. And then we are on the last one now, which is Maltriculated. This one was the weirdest of all of them. There's a monkey in a jar. Why is there a monkey in a jar?
Okay, that didn't bother me as much as until
this was done by DNA Productions, by the way.
And until they went into the simulation. This one was basically an acid trip.
Recap story time. Matriculated humans. I'm going to read my very short summary. Humans capture robots and try to convince them these are not Matrix humans. These are real world humans. Capture robots with their own Matrix type program, and they plug them into that, and they're like, oh, robots can't tell the difference. They plug them into their own Matrix program and try to convince them to trust human beings and go on their side. We do see that this has worked with a bunch of robots, because later on when there's like a fight scene, there's a bunch of robots fighting for them, but they just throw away. That's what pisses me off. Obviously, each one of these robots, they've worked hard to convert, because they do. We'll talk about the program in a minute. They worked hard to convert, and then one of them dies protecting her, and they're just like, eh. They don't even like, oh no, bot 32C, you were my friend. I'm sorry you died trying to get this other one. Nope. So, and then there's like a light show, and everybody dies, but according to the wiki, one person didn't die. But anyway, okay, so there's these shrimp-looking sentinel little bot thingies. Runners.
Yeah.
And there's a lady and a monkey in a jar, which is neat. It's actually not a monkey. It's what is it? It's
what it's called. Fuck.
I want to see. It starts with a C. I have it in my notes somewhere. Nope. I don't remember. It's that's gonna bother me. That's gonna bother me so bad. Okay, I'll find it. So, and they find these both bots. They run them back to like a secure location. She leads them on a chase. Much more sees them, but yet they continue this operation. And one of the bots dies. The other one they like take elsewhere, even though more of the other sentinels and stuff are coming. And so they're gonna convert them. There's a bunch of people, the humans that pop out. They plug the bot in. They discuss with the doctor that the robot doesn't know the difference between reality and a Matrix type program. They just don't know the difference. You remember that?
Yeah. Okay. I just this one just.
The lady was. No, it's not a chimp. It's like a tarsier. It's a tarsier.
That's what it is.
It's a tarsier. Anyway, yeah, it's just a little tiny, big-eyed tarsier. Now Chase is Googling tarsiers, I'm sure. Tarsear, tarsier. But they plug him in, and he's like, and she's like, why can't we just reprogram them? He's like, no, they have to choose. If we reprogram them, we can't make them slaves. That's wrong. They have to choose to come and help us. And so they discuss dreams versus reality because robots can't tell the difference, and they put him into a simulation. And there are like a whole bunch of people that join her in the simulation. And this is the drug trip part. This is the part where it gets weird. Light show, drug trip, doesn't make any sense to us, but apparently it did for the robot. And it formed some sort of connection with this woman throughout this. And there's segments where they put the bot in this room with all the doors, and it like goes to go after a human, and the human just like merrily skips away behind the door, like tra-la-la-la-la, springs in the air. You know,
it was just watching it. I was just like, this doesn't make me want to choose your side. This just makes me uncomfortable.
But I have a theory. I have a theory that each of those people represented a virtue or a part of being human that the bots don't get to see. Like the one section he went into, it was terror, it was fear. He was sucked into the void. There was tentacles everywhere. The bot was scared. Yeah. It was terrified. It probably never knew fear like that before. It never knew what it was to be afraid. And the one person was joy and happiness, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were showing the bot the human condition, what it is to be human, what it is to feel the way they do. That's what I think it was.
Okay, yeah, I could.
It was waking up the robot's emotions. That's what it was, I think. Anyway, that was just a theory, but
theory.
Yeah, and so they go in. There's like there was like a maze.
Jessie.
Huh?
Oh, thank you for your edition of game theory.
Yes.
I don't know. It's possible film theory technically because it's a film.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
They eventually he goes. She saves him from the black goop, which is technically would probably be more like what's it called when you're captured by somebody and you're on their side? What's it called? Something syndrome. Stockholm. It's more of a Stockholm syndrome. Like really, but. They hold because when the robot's in there, he makes himself appear more human too. He sees them and he gives himself like a more human form instead of like spindly robot arms and tentacly little legs, and he can flip. He was humanoid, but and then they surf through glowing lights, and it seems to be working. But suddenly, the Fire Nation attacked. It was Sentinel. Actually. But the humans pop out and they run, and the converted bots. Some of them run with them. Some of them fight. And because the ones that are converted have green eyes, the bad ones have red eyes. Because red is bad, green is good. And there's a Wellheim scream, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I love the Wellheim scream. Somebody died. He died, but there was a Wellheim scream.
I mean,
God, I hate it.
And the bot activates because the bot's just kind of sitting there because they didn't finish the program with him. They had to leave early. But everyone freaking dies. The bot activates to protect her. And he kind of protects her because she's being carried away by a sentinel. I don't know why a sentinel was carrying her away. They just killed everybody else. But they were carrying her away. He protects her, and she's non-responsive. And so, for whatever reason, he plugs her into the thing. He plugs himself into the thing, and she wakes up, and she starts freaking out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. And she's screaming. She's like, no! And then she disappears. And so the bot comes back out, and he sees that she's dead. And then we see the shot of the robot alone, looking over the sea the way she did at the beginning of the short. And then it's over. But here's the thing: if you read the Wikipedia, it says it's heavily implied that it's pretty much canon that the robot assumed her identity into him to keep her alive. Where did that happen? The robot pulled her consciousness inside, so they share the bot's body now. At what point did that... Am I missing some symbolism there?
I don't know. This one just tripped me out way too much. I was just like, what?
Were you stoned while you watched it? I wasn't stoned, and I felt like I should have been.
I mean, I kind of was, yeah.
Did it help you understand any more?
Well,
it's legal. Don't look at us. It's legal in our state. Recreational is legal where we live. Both of us.
It is. Okay, the whole like sucking in. I didn't get that either, though. Like the robot sucking in her. I thought she died. Like
I thought she died as well. That's what I understood. Is that he tried to save her, and the last of her humanity, the last of what was there was like, oh no, I didn't want to die in this, and that's why she screamed, and then she died. That's what I understood. But no, apparently he assimilated her, or they, the bot.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, that was the Animatrix, and we probably ran over time, but I really thought we had a fun conversation about that. But during the credits, we hear weird audio clips from the movie over the music, but that was about it. That was it.
Yeah.
Pretty uninteresting for the credits. Like, not every movie gets a stinger at the end, I guess. But it was. I enjoyed it. All in all.
It was. I actually like films like that where there's different animations and like different points of view of the story and this, that, and the other. I really enjoy movies like that.
Okay, so normally during the post show, DC and I, or sometimes Yojack and I, will give a rating system based on the movie, like 10 wiggly fish out of, or how many wiggly fish out of 10 do you give this movie? What are we going to use for this one? Are we going to use how many shorts, movie shorts, how many robot acid trips, how many children leaping off of buildings do we give this out?
Fuck, that is dark.
I give it a 7 children leaping off a building out of 10.
Okay. You know, I actually am going to agree. I'm going to give it actually an 8. Because, yes, I have my complaints, my personal views on how I do not prefer some animation. I'm going to give it 8 robot acid trips out of 10. Because my main complaint was the animation. First, the ones that were like storyline important, their animation was not as visually appealing. But I gave it so high still because A, I love the Matrix, and B, that was a visual art style that the animators and writers chose. Like the Wachowskis, which is the creators of the entire Matrix universe, the entire everything Matrix were in with the writers and the production managers of this team the whole time. This was not some random studios that went, we're going to do our own thing and do a non-canon. No. They were canon, all of this. All of this was canon. They were all in it, balls to the wall, balls deep in all of this.
Yes.
So, and that's what they chose for it. And honestly, I wouldn't like a whole movie in those styles, but it was symbolism. The style is a symbolism for each of the themes. Like the black and white one. That's when I realized that the style that they chose was a symbolism for each of the themes of each of the short films because of the detective one. That was the theme they were going for. That was the feel. So all of them got their own feels and their own themes. And I dig it. That's why I get 8. What could have done better? Some of them didn't feel as relevant to like a main plot. Some of them should have been expanded on.
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about all of it. I wanted more. Each of these could have been longer in their own right, but honestly, I think it was a perfect combination. Like, I'm going to complain a little bit, but it was done well.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, and what the movie set out to be is a companion. Each of these shorts were a companion tie-in, and it accomplished that. They were just little snippets of more story to connection to the movies and the games to bring everything all together, and I dig it.
Yes.
Yes. So that's probably going to wrap it up this time. What did DC say the movie for next week was? I don't remember.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh. Sorry, I burped there, everybody. But thank you for watching.
I would have loved to have done that one.
Maybe you can. Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure DC will find a way to complain himself out of some other parts of that movie too. But anyway, this is a show after the show, and if you're here, this is where you say your family. If you're here,
your family.
Yes, thank you. At least you understand prompts. Thanks so much, guys, for being our patrons. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you guys next time. Take us out, Cole.
Alrighty. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.